Hey, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're going to be answering your questions and comments, helping you guys out. There's still a handful of 2024 skis, or maybe you don't want 2024 skis. Maybe there's nothing in your size that fits you. I always am answering people's emails and I'll try to sprinkle in a deal, but sometimes it's better to get a good fit than it is to get a good deal. I always recommend the deal if I can, and there are so many good deals out there, but as they thin down, I find myself more and more trying to avoid pigeonholing people into one ski, if that makes sense. For instance, for a period of time, you could buy the Salomon QST 98s for $325. I think they're $379 now, and I found myself recommending them to a lot of people because that's such a good deal. But I don't want to go overboard with that, and there's some people who don't need a QST 98. They'd be better off with a Core 93 from Head, or a Maverick 88 Ti, or Stockli Stormrider, Volkl Mancher, whatever. Like, I don't want to give you an impression that there's one ski that's perfect for everyone. Different skis have different strengths. Choose what fits you better, and if I can find you a deal, I will try to. Sometimes there's some gray area, but you know, anyway. So, without further ado, let's read the first comment. Also, we have placed our order for Patagonia. The website is closed for t-shirt and base layer orders. Thanks to everyone who ordered. I really appreciate it. We are supposed to get the goods in the next couple days, and then we'll start screen printing. But just wanted to let you guys know I shut down the website and I put the orders in for the goods, and then we will put on the Rickety Ski Reviews branding and then ship them out to you. I'm hoping by the 18th. I can't make any promises, but that's the timeline I'm aiming for. Okay. All right. Now the first question comes from Lawrence Martin 3122 when I say what's going on with ski passes from a while ago. They say, skiing in general is expensive, and you are correct in that if there is no entry point for people to try it, then eventually skiing will go over a demographic cliff. Yes. And that is a relevant comment because the Salt Lake Tribune reported yesterday that Vail Resorts and Epic Pass sales declined slightly this winter. They reported a 2% year-over-year decline in Epic Pass sales in their quarterly earnings call, which may not seem like a big deal, but when you think about how big Epic Pass is across the country, that is quite a lot. Despite selling fewer passes, however they go to say, revenue from pass sales is up 4% year-over-year. The company attributed that to the 8% increase in Epic Pass prices this season. Wow, isn't that great? Because they keep jacking up the prices, now they are making more money on fewer of us because they can just upcharge. I guess if you want to be optimistic about it, maybe that'll help with crowds, but the whole Epic Pass system really has created a nightmare for crowds at mountains. Because let's say right now you're a Vermonter, they just got hit with a bunch of rain. Okay, well now my ski hill's closed, but I have the means to go over to Colorado or Utah or Idaho where they're getting a bunch of snow, and now I can go there. And so you're seeing these giant crowds as a result. Luckily, where I live in Idaho, we don't have Epic or Icon. We do in some of the neighboring mountains, but we don't deal with this. Yeah, I mean, you just squeeze people enough and enough and enough, and eventually you're gonna lose people. They're gonna say, you know what, I can't justify between the skis, the boots, and the pass spending $2,000 to $3,000. Like, it just doesn't make sense for me anymore. Which is sad, because it's such a beautiful sport, and you know, like, the more people you have doing a sport, the more room there is for innovation, the more people who are going to change the style or maybe change the gear. Just having a handful of people who can access it really is a good way to stagnate the sport long term. So I don't know. It's sad to see. They're going to keep driving up prices until morale improves. The other thing I was thinking about is ticket prices. My home mountain raised ticket prices, and so I started looking around, and I was like, oh, these are still really reasonable compared to other places. You're talking $200 to $300 for lift tickets, for day tickets around Christmas. And I was trying to figure out why that is, because it's not like passes are that much more expensive. So let's say someone goes for a week to Colorado around Christmas, they might as well get a season pass at that point. So I was like, well, why would they want that? Why would they want you to get a better value? And I think what I figured out, and maybe this is obvious to everyone, but if you have everyone have a season pass, then they're more likely to come back for another week, and then they're spending money at the restaurants, they're spending money on the hotels. For the people who are from out of town just coming in, they're more incentivized to come back and spend money on the other big amenities that they sell. So I think that that's probably why they do it. They also can guarantee their sales early on in the season, and it won't be weather dependent. Ticket sales will go up and down based on the weather. If you are like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ski 5 days for like a week straight or whatever, I might as well get a pass because that's gonna run me $1,500, or I can get the Epic Pass for $800 or $900, whatever it is. I don't know, it's $1,000. I have like a local nonprofit, so I'm a little out of touch with the prices. So, okay, I'm gonna save money, I'm gonna do it in the fall, and now I'm locked in, and then they know how much to forecast for theirs. So there's this big push for season passes. The problem is, the way that you funnel new people into the sport is by day tickets. So it seems short-sighted to me for the long-term growth. But, you know, I'm not the Vail Resort CEO, so what do I know? And in my experience, corporations aren't typically worried about long-term health or sustainability. They must know something I don't. But it is sad from where I'm standing. All right, user IW5MP5TH6D says, Elliott is spot on with his Mantra 88 comment. It's a stable, high-performance ski that can make you look really good or really bad depending on your style. Turns on them are initiated underfoot. If your hips and feet are positioned correctly, it's nearly impossible not to carve the ski. The tricky part is learning how to smear a turn so that you can ski for the whole day. Yeah, that's 100% accurate to what I feel. I mean, and for some people, it suits their style perfectly, and they like feeling that stability underfoot. They like initiating from kind of the middle of the ski. The other thing I found too is that if you figure out the timing of how to release from that turn initiation, you can time it and make really fun, like pretty looking turns. But you have to want that style, and there's nobody who's like, you know, sometimes people just don't match with a ski. It doesn't make the ski bad, it doesn't make the person bad. But you just have to pick what your preference is, and some of that is just mileage. You might learn what you like. I never thought I liked Fishers when I was racing, and then, you know, I spent a couple days on a pair while I was coaching, and I was like, oh, okay, now I kind of get what these are about, and, you know, they're more like kind of on automatic, ready to go turn initiation, and I can focus on the rest of the turn. So some of it's just being like mindful of what you find and adapting to it. And some of it is just like, okay, this isn't a good fit and I'm gonna move on. There's no wrong answers. That's kind of the beauty I find of skiing, is that there are so many different ways to express yourself with your turns based on the equipment and based on your style. And for me, like, I can adjust to most of it and I like most of it. In the past, there have been a handful of race skis where the timing is so on the tails that it just makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, you have to go so fast and you have to just kind of hang on by your teeth to get on the ski. And so I do like that, especially like on an all mountain ski in a like very, you know, controlled scenario. But on race skis, you know, it's a little scary for some of those. So I think for a lot of those flagship skis, give yourself some time to learn and adapt to it. And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, move on. There's so many good skis out there. Really, we're in the golden age of ski design, and I'm sure you'll find something else that really clicks with you. And then, you know, there's also the aspect of like, you can't always retail your way into better skiing. Sometimes you just need to go, okay, this is where I'm at with my gear. I'm gonna focus on me from here on out. You know, or I'm gonna focus on my boots, whatever. But like, it's not always the skis. Sometimes you have to go, okay, this is a pretty good platform that I like, but from here, I'm gonna develop my skills. All right, Fernando Nunez says, thanks for the details, man. Have you reviewed your newer pair of ZipFits? Couldn't find a video and was curious about your opinion, thanks. Yeah, no, not yet. My home mountain just opened for midweek starting tomorrow, or next week pretty much. And so I have only skied like one day with my kids, and you know, that's not really very mindful skiing. That's mostly, actually my son loves carving. My youngest son has autism, and I hold him with a harness, and you know, he loves the chairlift, and I've got the other kids in front of me. I'll give them a head start, but he really likes carving. Like, I'll carve with him in between my legs on a blue square or green circle, whatever, on a smooth run. But just building that pressure and having momentum, he loves that stimulus of momentum and motion and feeling where you are in space. And it's really beautiful. So I have been skiing, I have been carving with him, but I have not done the ZipFits. But I did just heat mold them an hour ago. Like, I was just in there, I put them, my base liners from my Atomic boots, which are brand new, so this is starting from scratch. We've got a nice clear, like, kind of platform to work with. And then I also did the Intuition liners. I did all three of them in the oven at 200 degrees for about 2.5 to 3 minutes, popped them out, wore them for 10 minutes after inside of the shell, and, you know, strapped them down. I put a 2x4 and did the flex. So I'm breaking them in. I do think I'm just gonna need to put some mileage on them to really get them broken in. One thing I found interesting, I was trying some footbeds that were sent to me by other brands, and interestingly enough, the ZipFits with the extra little bit of padding from the new footbeds actually lifted my ankle up enough that they didn't fit properly in the shell. So I went back to the default. I tried a lot of different combinations to see what worked, but yeah, I've been putting mileage into the ZipFits at home, and tomorrow and Monday and the next week, I'm gonna start putting mileage on snow. That's gonna be my first kind of content. There's snow conditions I don't think are good enough to be accurately reviewing skis. So I think for right now, it's gonna be boot content. But I mean, we've had great conditions here in Idaho. I think within the next week, I can start reviewing some skis. But so far, so good. I mean, the ZipFits do feel nice. My first impressions were really positive. Oh, okay, this is a good question. Shay Slides says, what do you think about a 2-ski quiver of the Nordica Enforcer 94 and the Blackcrows Atris? Okay, the Blackcrows Atris is what, like 104 millimeter width underfoot? I have only skied the Enforcer 99, which I really liked from 2025 and newer, but depending on where you ski, that might be a really nice quiver, actually. You use the Enforcer 94 as your daily driver. It's a good crud cutter. It's very damp, a nice carving ski. And then you use the Blackcrows Atris as like a Sunday powder ski. That's pretty nice. The only thing you're gonna miss is like tree skiing when there's not a lot of snow. But when there is a good amount of snow, you can take the Atris. And even when there's not that much, actually, you can still take the Atris. It just depends on what your priorities are. If your priorities are like, I want a really just like bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, carving ski, the Enforcer's a good ski. I haven't done the 94, so it's hard for me to say. But, you know, you could maybe get a ski that was a little bit narrower to focus on carving. But the Enforcer 94 is fine, actually. I don't know. I'm trying to kind of do some guesswork based on the 99. But I'd say all in all, for a 2-ski quiver, that's pretty good. I think that's I give that an A, a solid like A minus. I think that's a really good 2-ski quiver. It's a little close, like they're only 10 millimeters width underfoot. They do very different things, but you know, if your priority isn't to have really narrow skis, then you may not care about that at all. So I don't know. From where I'm standing, it's a pretty good quiver. I think you nailed it. That's nice. All right, Ronnie Allen 3897 says, Pacific Northwest skier here. QST 106 and 181 is current daily driver. Love them. I mean, you daily drive whatever you want. I like it for powder, but you do what feels good to you. However, teenage son is my skiing buddy, and he's liking the bumps. That'll happen, and they get faster. Considering either the QST 92 or 98 as a complement to the 106. Leaning 92 in a 176 at 511, thoughts? Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I would do. QST 92 is a perfect daily driver. That's a great length for getting in and out of the trees. It'll complement the 106. 98's good, but it's just gonna be a little too similar to your 106s. It's a great value. I have a whole video talking about the value of the QST 92. If you wanted a little more diversity, like I don't know if you have other kids, and you wanted short radius turns, the other ski I would consider is the Blackcrows Octo, but it's hard to know what your priorities are and what you like. And I know that if you like the QST 106, you'll probably like the QST 92. But if you wanted a second suggestion, I think the Blackcrows Octo would be a lot of fun for you as well. But that's so fun, and I cannot wait until my kids are older to ski with them in that same way. My daughter's kind of getting there, and we've had a couple powder days in the trees, and it's been so fun to ski with her. So I have a lot of admiration and respect, and man, I hope you have a great season. All right, Edward Pure 1324 says, please review DPS skis and compare them to the Bent 110. That's the plan. When I talked to DPS in August, they were planning on sending me skis to review. The problem is I don't have anything locally to review. Otherwise, I would have just gone and demoed them myself. But I'd love to review DPS skis. I'm open to reviewing all skis I can get my hands on. They were kind of radio silent for a few months, but I just got an email saying that they still want to work together. What they're sending me, I don't know. I made a few requests that was like, I want to test this and this, specifically the Kaiser and the Whaler. But then like Ted just announced a brand new carving ski that's like 80 millimeters. And I would love to ski that. I think that would be the perfect thing for me to test and ski. Not because of like any brand affiliation or anything, just because I like carving skis. I like that width for an all mountain ski where I ski at. And I'd like to see how the carbon feels in a carved turn. There was a couple Instagram reels where Ted was on it and it like showed chatter, But then I was like, wait, he has like stickers on it. I think they're measuring chatter on purpose. So it'd be interesting to see what changes they made. Also, it's kind of on the pricier side, so I would like to see where the value's at. I was critical of Stockli, but then I really love their Storm Rider and Montero skis. So, you know, it's like, I think it's okay for skis to be expensive, but there needs to be value. And typically, skis that are narrower aren't more expensive than their wider counterpoints, which it seems to be a little flipped on its head with DPS. But I like what they're doing. You know, I've talked with other people in the industry about them, and they're made in America. They're made over in Utah. I don't know. I'm open to it, and I would love to see what they actually feel like on my feet. It's easy to get hyped about a brand, and I love the colors they're using, all this stuff. But until it goes on my feet, I can't give you my honest opinion. So I'll wait until then. But I'm really hoping that DPS pulls through and I can review their skis, because I would love to see what is going on with that carving ski. And I have heard good things about their powder skis, just from people I ride up the chairlift here at my home mountain. So that's my answer for now. If DPS gives me the opportunity, I will absolutely be reviewing their skis. Okay, last comment I'm gonna read here is Tavorin. They said, hey Elliott, I'm planning on demoing a bunch of skis this season, but I don't know what I value in a ski. Can you recommend some representative skis from different categories, styles, surfy, damp, etc., so I can ski them back to back and get a better idea of what I like? I'm an intermediate advanced skier at snow basing this season. I rode the QST 98 last season, and I've got the Nordica Navigator 85s and Elan Ripstick 106s this season. Oh, you've already got a pretty good quiver for somebody who's kind of new to it. Yeah, I mean, you could go through all of my reviews, and if you have interest in a ski, I kind of talk about that. How do I do this now, quickly? There's a couple of things that separate skis. You've got, and I'm just gonna go off of West Coast. I know East Coast people are gonna pull their hair out because they like narrower skis in like the 60, 70, 80, whatever. But for, let's say for Utah, which is similar to Idaho, you have your all mountain ski, which is like 80 to 95, which is kind of like a daily driver that's gonna have a little bit of powder. You can go off trail, but it's mostly carving. It's mostly for on trail performance. Then you go a little bit wider, you've got 96 to 103, I don't know. That's kind of your safe bet, like that 100 millimeter safe bet you can put in your car and it's probably gonna be good. And that is a little more like, can do column A and column B, but it's not really doing powder great and it's not doing carving really great. But it'll get by, you can carve on it, but it's just not as responsive as a thinner ski, and it can float okay, but once you get like 7, 8, 9 inches and up, then they're gonna struggle more. And then beyond that, you've got your powder ski, and how far into the weeds you go is how specialized it is. The kind of sweet spot, in my opinion, for powder skis is 106 to like 114, somewhere in there. I think that's great. I think 110 is like perfect. So you've got that for widths. And then if we're just talking about all mountain skis, like carving the 88 up to 100, then you've got kind of your crud cutter, which is a heavier, damper ski that is heavier and denser and kind of carries through wet, heavy snow. Or you've got kind of like my ski, the Atomic Maverick, where it carves and is stable, but it's kind of got a wider tip and it's a little more floaty. And a lot of skis aren't just one thing, they're kind of combining different things. Then you've got like the QST series where it's a little more surfy and it feels a little bit more like snowboarding. Or you've got the Stockli Storm Rider where really all it cares about is like having a damp, smooth ride. So every ski build kind of prioritizes different things. Like those Elan Ripsticks you have really prioritize like easy turn initiation. So it's hard to say this ski does exactly this. Usually it's a blend of a handful of things it's trying to accomplish. A large part of that you can tell depending on the brand and the width. But I would say the best thing to do, honestly, is just try skis. Like a lot of times at your local ski area, if you go talk to the reps, they'll be like, okay, if you pay for a demo, we'll let you demo as many as you want. So I would do it that way and just get a feel for what you like and what you feel. Or if you have an interest, watch the review and see like, okay, that kind of lines up with what I like. But the best teacher in your case will just be mileage. Mileage on the skis you like, mileage on the skis you don't, and you know, narrow it down based on the reviews, but don't get too hung up on it. Just enjoy skiing, enjoy going out there, and as you put more time into the hobby, you will begin to learn what you like and what you dislike. It's kind of like cars. There are different cars and different things they prioritize, and the only way to learn what you like and what you don't like is through experience. I can kind of narrow it down and I can tell you what I'm experiencing, but we'd be here all day if I was giving you exactly what each thing is. You'd be better served going into the review where it's really detailed. So anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you want to support the channel, we have channel memberships below. You can like and subscribe. That's a free way to support the channel. I'll have links down below to the skis I'm talking about. That is a great way to support the channel without spending any extra money. Or if you think you're going to buy in the future, just do it now so that it tracks you later. But as always, more than anything, just thanks for taking time to be here with me. Thanks for watching my video. It means a ton to me that you guys spend your day with me in some weird one-way mirror. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.